So the big question is, how do health experts like you and I generate more income, impact more people, and create businesses that work around their lifestyle and serve their family at the highest possible level? If you want the answer to that question, then you're in the right place at the right time. Whether you're a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a nutrition coach, this is for you. My name is Dr. Javier Carlin, and I want to welcome you to the Practice Revolution. We are a movement that is revolutionizing the way private practices are built so you can practice on your terms. So go ahead and join us and follow along as we learn, apply, and share the top business growth strategies that we're using to grow our own business and to help you grow yours, using only the best insights and advice from top industry leaders. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show. Welcome to Facebook Marketing Strategies for Healthcare Experts. So excited to be here with you today. For those of you who don't know us, my name is Javier Carlin. I'm a physical therapist, and this is Marissa Case. She's a registered dietitian, and let's get this party started.
Just a quick reminder, if you know any other healthcare experts that would benefit from the information in this group, feel free to welcome them, send them an invite. We'd love to have them.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are interested in learning how you can gain clients using Facebook, how you can grow your business so you can get back your time, right, then this is the group for you. So with all that said, we are going to keep tonight's a little bit shorter than normal, and this is how we're doing it. We have an hourglass, okay? We're gonna keep tonight short and compact for you, okay? About 20-25 minutes max. So let's go ahead and dive right in. You guys ready? You guys ready to learn the insider secrets for going from 0K in January to 50K last month in June? Guys, back in August of 2020, we began building a core coaching program, right? We built businesses ourselves. We were a part of several coaching programs, several masterminds, and we really wanted to start to build a program that had everything that we felt was missing in all the other programs that we had taken, right? We didn't feel like we had a lot of step-by-step clarity, a lot of actionable, worksheets and actionable, advice, right? That we can directly know, hey, I do this thing, then I do this next thing, then I continue to move forward from there, right? So at the time, we said, you know what? Let's start doing this for ourselves. And we started working with a few clients individually. We then launched a small beta group program, right? This was the first time we launched a program. We started to realize that our process really worked, right? Our clients were getting results. And after a few enhancements to the program, this was back in August, after a few enhancements to our program in December, okay, we decided, hey, you know what, like we're providing a ton of value here. It's time to raise our rates. It's time to increase our prices. And for every single one of you watching today, okay, one of the secrets to being able to increase your revenue, as simple as it might seem, I know a lot of you are fearful about it, is to simply raise your rates. You have to understand that you are providing so much value in exchange for a piece of paper, right? For a monetary tool, okay? So when you start to notice that and you start to realize that, wait a second here, I'm actually giving away so much more. I'm changing people's lives here, right? With what I'm able to do with my skill set, it's going to become really easy to see that, yes, people are willing to pay you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, right? Our highest program is $80,000, right? Our mid-tier one is $5,000. And people are happily paying that, okay? So it just goes to show that if the value is there, people will happily pay you money. So that is one realization that we made, right? Now, here's the interesting part, right? We are the marketing and sales people teaching healthcare professionals how to do this, to gain patients and clients and PT and in the nutrition world, right? Now, what happened though, I remember back in January, guess how many people we enrolled in our program? Guess how many? Zero. I had 13 calls that month, enrollment calls, right? Which is how you get clients, right? You have to have conversations with people. Little hint there. You have to get conversations on. You have to have conversations with people where you're, talking about their problems. You're figuring out, is my solution something that could actually help them? If it can, you make them an offer, right? It's that simple. Well, I had 13 of these conversations in January, and I felt terrible about myself. I was about to like hire someone, right, to fill that role. And, in the past, I was known as a person who can communicate really well, listen really well, and get people to enroll in things that would, really benefit them. So I felt really bad about myself because I knew that what I had, what we had and what we have can change someone's life. And there were 13 people I remember clearly whose lives were not changed that month because of my inability, right, to sell. Okay, so at that time, we had just invested in coaching, right? I think it was November or December. Mm-hmm. We paid like $6,800 for a coaching program. That was amazing. It was a really good program. We were 3 months into it and had gotten 0 results yet. Okay, this is a piece of our insider secrets for today. All right, so you'll want to stick around to learn what happened next. Okay, so everything seemed promising. The month of January, we were at 0, right? The month of February, we had 1 person enroll. And I think March was when we started to gain a little bit more traction. Yeah. Right? But we felt beat up. We felt like we should not be doing what we were doing. And it's a different world, right? It's a different world, when there's a lot more patients out there, a lot more people with pains and aches, a lot more people that need help with their nutrition than there are healthcare professionals. Okay, think about that. So we started to get in our own head and started to think that, hey, you know what? There's already other people doing what we're doing. Should we continue? Should we keep on doing this, right? Are we meant to help people with this? And a lot of that imposter syndrome started to come up, right? We started to feel like we didn't know what we were doing, right? We started to feel like
should we just go back and get a 9-to-5 job? Like,
right.
Are we like really destined to do this?
Right. And a lot of it, because we had built the private practices, and it was in February when I gave up my partnership, my 50-50 partnership, to go all in online, and we started to question things a little bit. It was like, wait a second, did we make the right decision? Yeah. Right. I was about to open up like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 private practices. It wasn't inside of me, right, to want to do that. I wasn't passionate about it anymore like I thought I was when I first got out of school, but I started to question it, right? And so then Marissa, and we were a little bit fearful. Okay, so fast forward to the month of June, right? We're in June now, where we're
in July now.
We're in July now. It's crazy. We were in June last month.
A couple days ago,
right? And we had our first $50,000 month. Okay, yes, $50,000 month, right? What I used to make as a new grad PT 3 or 4 years ago, right? We almost made an entire month in just 1 month.
More than what I made as a registered dietitian,
right,
with a master's degree.
Right, and we don't say that to brag, and hopefully you know us by now where we're not saying that to be like, oh, look at us, right? We're showing you and we're telling you this because we know that if we could do it, a PT and an RD, right, who did not have a business degree, we didn't go to business school, marketing school, none of that, right, that you can do it too. There's no reason why you should not be able to do this. Absolutely none. Zero reason, okay? And a lot of the reason why we're pushing so hard is to show you what's possible, to show you that if we can do it, you can do it, because there's nothing that separates us, right? We're the same. We have the same education, right? We have this, you guys are probably way more intelligent than I am. Okay, I'm not going to say more intelligent than you, but more definitely.
Maybe. I mean, we all have different skill sets.
We all have different skill sets, right? We all are good at different things, but we all know deep within ourselves, right, that you have this potential that has not been tapped into yet. Would you agree? Right? You know inside of you that you are meant for greatness, that you haven't even gotten close to what you are capable of doing, to the number of people that you're capable of helping. Isn't that right? So if you have that within yourself, then you are more than capable of being able to do what we've been able to do in a short amount of time, right? We got our business to over 6 figures in less than, a few months. It's actually, February, because we didn't have a sale in January. So February, March, April, May, June, 5 months. It's actually 5 months, right? So what we're going to do tonight is actually break down in about 15 minutes what the top lessons that we learned are, what those insider secrets are, that if you implement, if you follow, and if you don't just take this as like, oh, I already know that already, but you actually listen and you actually say, you know what, how good am I at that? I know I need to do X, Y, and Z, but how have I been actually doing that daily? Am I doing it daily? Am I not? And what shifts do you feel that you have to make in order to get to that point, right? Because if you do that and you do it long enough, and you put everything you've got, you put everything you have into everything that you do, you will have the success. You will have the success in due time with the right strategy, with the accountability, and without stopping. Okay, don't stop. Keep it going. Don't stop. Okay, cool. So, what's number one?
Let's tell them. All right. So we have a couple. We kind of brainstormed today, and we were like, what have we done? What have we really tapped into that helped us get to the point that we're at today? And we have about 5 or 6 key things that we want to talk about. And you're going to notice a lot of them, like Javi said, you're going to be like, I already know that. Again, think, how good are you at it, right? And again, we are nowhere near perfect at any of these things. We're constantly improving. Every single day, we're trying to get even better at all of these things. So again, we're nowhere near perfect, but these are some of the things that we really had to tap into. So let's start with number one. So number one for us, one of the biggest things has been consistency. And like Javi said, we had started this process back in August, and we have been consistent. It's about to be 12 months, and we have been here every single Monday night with you guys. We have been very consistent with, our posting, our messaging, sticking to one platform, right? Consistency. Oh, there go the lights. Consistency. Hey, even in a tropical storm, we are here. We are consistent, right? We're showing up, right? We have one message, one platform, one core offer. You guys, if you've seen any of our content, if you've been in any of our master classes in our program, we preach this, right? You have to be consistent. You can't just jump around from thing to thing to thing. And we had done that in the past when we were building our businesses really early on. But part of it was because we were really just putting our feelers out there to be like, do we like this? Do we like this? Do we like this? And that's perfectly okay. Like, you're not going to get it right in business the first time. We've both had multiple businesses.
Yeah, you just don't want to stay there.
Exactly. So you do something and you're like, I like this, I don't, and you pivot. So we've been able to pivot really fast, find something that works really well for both of us, where we love doing, our clients get results, and we just pour 100% into it and we're consistent with it.
Yeah, and a big part of the consistency is this, right? We had to trust the process. And what I mean by that, remember those guys we talked about right back in December, the coaches that we hired, we paid $6,800 to, right, for I think it was a 10-week program at the time. So these guys, right, they said trust the process. They said the first time you do a promo cycle, the first time you do, your live streams, it's all about learning the process. You're not going to get the $100,000 a month the first time you do it. So we remember that, and that's been ringing in our ears, right, for the past 6 months, because a big piece of your success is, are you coachable? Are you willing to do what your coach tells you to do, even if it feels uncomfortable? Are you willing to listen, and not just listen, but act, even if it doesn't feel right? If you had all the tools, if you had the skill sets, if you had the mindsets, if you had the networks that you needed to get to that next level, that you needed, right, to achieve the success that you're looking for, if you already had that, right, you would already be there. Okay? Or at least developing it, but you would already be there. So anything that someone tells you to do that does not feel right, that causes discomfort, that makes you feel anxious, that makes you feel fearful, it's actually good. Because that means you are stretching yourself. You're hurting mentally, you're growing, okay? So the question is, are you coachable? Right? If you want the success, you have to be coachable, and you have to be willing to stay consistent, trust the process, follow the process, don't give up at the first sign of an obstacle or something not working, because everything that does not look like it's working is working on you. Okay, because you're growing, you're noticing new distinctions, your perspectives are shifting, you're learning more, right? We have to get rid of the old iOS, the old operating system, and install a new one. That takes a lot of work. It might happen in a few minutes on your phone, but if we're talking about your brain here, right, if you have one operating system you've had for 25, 30, 40 years, it can take some time. You have to be patient with yourself, right? So that's the first thing. It is consistency with one message, one platform, one offer, being and showing up every single week like we have, right? I think the only times we've missed is when we had a challenge going because we were doing challenge video, right?
But our people were still being served in other ways.
Exactly. So that's number one. Okay, so you can really remember this because we already know it, but the important part here is that you know it and that you know it very well. I'm going to be consistent and I am coachable. Because those are two of the success principles that you're going to need in order to attain the dreams, the goals that you have of being financially free, clinically free, time free. Without those two things, you don't have to be perfect, but without constant and daily efforts to try and get as good as you can, you're not going to succeed. Okay? Number two.
All right. So, number two is we crushed through limiting beliefs. Man, back in August, it was tough, right? We started this, we got super excited, we were like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then we had the typical entrepreneur roller coaster. We had really good days, we had really bad days. We had really good days and really good days and really bad days, right? And a lot of it was simply our mindset, right? And we had a lot of limiting beliefs, and we still do, right? We're not perfect, but we continue to work through it. And every time we recognize either of us saying a limiting belief, we try to correct each other on that. But we had a ton of limiting beliefs, right? Like, is this gonna work? Is this our path? Is this the right thing? Are people gonna pay this amount of money, right? There's already so many coaches in the coaching space. There's so many coaches online. Like, are we getting a late start? Is it even worth it, right? I mean, can you think of any other? I know we have so many.
Yeah, I mean, no, those were many of them, right? I think exactly what you said, right? Imposter syndrome like crazy. There's other people doing this. Why us? Like,
the middle of COVID.
Yeah. Are we qualified for this? I don't have a business degree.
I don't have a
business degree. We have experiences, right, that we've been through and that have allowed us to be able to teach what we teach, right? But there's a lot of limitations that can come up. But I think the key here is that we kept moving forward, right? We had the support system. We had each other, which is amazing, right? We had our friends who are most of them now entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And when we needed the help, when we needed the support, we didn't just retreat. We reached out to them, right? We asked them questions. We asked them like, hey, did you ever feel these emotions? Like 100%, I still do. And that feeling of like, wait a second, this is normal. Everyone feels this, allowed us and should allow you to be like, you know what? Well, this is never going to go away. So what am I waiting for? When is the best time? Right? They say the best time to plant a tree, especially a delicious mango tree, right? If you're craving mangoes right now, would have been 15 years ago because you'd probably have mangoes, on your floor. The next best time to plant a tree, well, it depends. How soon do you want your mangoes? Do you want them in 10 years, 5 years? Do you want them in 50 years? Probably sooner, right? Sooner the better. So when would be the second best time to plant a mango tree? Today. Or you can just steal your neighbor's mangoes, but that's another story for another day. So So because of that, right, it's understanding that these limiting beliefs, these limiting factors, these limiting mindset, right, that you might currently have right now are never going to go away. You can start to shift these beliefs and create empowering beliefs, but imposter syndrome, right, overthinking, these things are going to constantly creep up on you, and there are ways to protect your mind, right? But you have to be aware of them, and you have to be willing to do it. And you have to be willing to have a support system behind you where you can reach out to if these things do come up, right? So that's number 2. We crushed our limiting beliefs. We listened to our coaches when they said do it. We just did it anyway, even if we believed otherwise. Okay?
Yeah. All right. So next one that we have, number 3, is we identified bottlenecks in our business. So in the beginning, we were able to do it all. We had time on our hands. We could do every piece of our business. But as our business started to grow, there started to be things that kind of slipped through the cracks, because here's our business, right? And as we grew, there were more and more tasks that needed to be completed, and we were coaching a lot more. There was less time for us to actually work on the business. So it started to kind of go like this. And only certain things were getting through the cracks. And there was a lot of stuff left on the bottom of the bottle that wasn't being handled, that wasn't being, taken care of. People weren't being reached out to and things like that. So we identified where our business was getting really thin and where we needed help or we needed improvements, enhancements, and identified those bottlenecks and then made changes and took steps in our business to kind of widen that bottleneck so that we could actually, produce the results for our clients and show up here every Monday and get everything that needed to be done and make sure that everything in our business was running smoothly.
Yeah, 100%. So the bottleneck, right, is basically when you have a nice flow that's happening through your business, from marketing to sales to delivery to fulfillment, right? So you have this nice flow, and all of a sudden, because of lack of time, right? You have a lot of lack of support, lack of staff, right? Lack of systems. You start to get bombarded with all these things that you have to do to keep your business afloat. And that bottleneck could be, I don't have enough leads coming in. The bottleneck could be, I have leads, but I suck at conversions, I suck at conversations, I suck at sales, right? The bottleneck could be, I'm on coaching calls all day, I'm treating people all day, right? How am I supposed to grow a business, do the marketing, do the lead generation, do the content, do the sales, if I'm treating people all day, if I'm coaching all day, right? These are the different bottlenecks in your business, and you're going to have different ones at different times, right? So you have to be aware of where there's a bottleneck, of where your business is getting stuck, and you have to be willing to look at the options of what has to happen to open up the floodgates again. For example, in January, what was our problem? If you guys were listening, what was our problem, right? 0 people enrolled in our programs. I realized, right, I need to get better at this sales thing. I'm rusty. I haven't done it in a while. I need to get better at having these conversations to enroll people, right? So what did we do, right? And this kind of leads into the fourth secret, right? I doubled down on learning and implementing conversions, conversations, and sales. We invested in a $30,000 mastermind recently, even more recently, right? That teaches us how to create a sales system, a real sales system, a process, how to have conversations with people, right? To disqualify them more than qualify them, right? Because at the end of the day, the people that we work with, right, we spend the most time with them. So we have to be very intentional and protective of our energy, of our time, right? So it was a switch in mindset, a switch in belief, but we had to double down on learning and implementing this stuff, right? Hiring someone to teach it to us, because if I would have kept on going 0 for 0 for 0 for 0 for 0, number one, I would have not had an impact. I would have not helped people that needed help, right? And our business would not be thriving right now, right? We'd probably be back at the clinic, or, PRN job while we were growing this on the side. So we had to identify those bottlenecks, realize, is it something that is a mindset issue? Is it a skill set issue? Is it a network issue? If it is a mindset issue, is it that I don't feel comfortable with talking to people? Is it that I fear rejection? Is it that I don't feel confident about our services? And tackle that. Is it a skill issue? Is it that the current questions I'm asking, the current framework I have for my sales process, is that what's the sticking point? Is it that I just need more practice, right? What are those bottlenecks? Identify them and tackle them. Don't wait, tackle them. A lot of people will say, well, I don't really feel like, messaging people today. Or, how many of you have felt like good when a sales call or a conversation canceled on you? It's like, oh, relief. Now I don't have to hear no. That's not a good thing. That's a terrible thing. That means your business is never going to grow if you're feeling that way, right? So it's better to understand the feeling behind it so you can solve the problem. Otherwise, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to stay stuck in the same position you are now, or it's going to get worse. So that was number 3 and 4 combined, right? Identify the bottlenecks and lean into it. Figure out what's causing the bottlenecks. Is it internal? Is it a skill set? Okay, or do I need the right network of people to help me see what I can't see right now? Okay, when you identify that, then you make the investment, and not just money. Money's the easy part. I always say it, money's the easy part. Swiping a credit card, putting your information, easy peasy, right? An investment of your time, of your energy, of your desire, of your faith. You invest those 5 things, right, into leaning in to solve your problems, okay? You're going to figure it out. So that's number 3 and number 4, okay?
Yeah, and I want to also add one quick thing to doubling down and leaning in. When it comes to doubling down, we also double down in terms of our time. So a couple things with that. Javi's a morning person. He was waking up even earlier to learn from that $30,000 mastermind. Okay, so he was waking up earlier. Did he want to? Absolutely not. But he was. And he was out there religiously every single morning, learning and practicing and implementing what he was learning. Okay, he made time for all the calls for his coach. Also listen to all the videos from your coach on 1.5 to 2 speed. And listen to the videos multiple times.
I'm still watching them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am a night owl. So I did not wake up early. However, I stayed up late and I got whatever I needed to get done. So we both doubled down on our time by making more time for it. Did we want to wake up earlier and, go to bed later? No, I would have. He was in bed and I was on the couch. Like, we did not go to bed at the same time. We did not wake up at the same time. Nothing. For months. Because we had to do what we had to do. And so we doubled down on our time. And we also saved time by watching videos in 1.5 or 2 speed. So, little life hack there. But we got it done.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about business is as soon as you identify a bottleneck, as soon as you figure out, you know what, I suck at sales, let me get better at that, you dive in, right? You invest in the best, you learn, and then you implement. You learn, you implement, you learn and implement, right? This is not school where you have to learn for 3 years until you can practice. No, this is the complete opposite. And that's what I love about it, right? Is I can learn and is immediately, right? We invested in that program and literally a week, 2 weeks later, right? We had a great month. And do you see the correlation there, right? Invested 30K, made 50. And that's just the beginning. But I knew what the bottleneck was, and I said, I suck at this right now. I'm going to invest in the best, and I'm going to produce more, and not just once, but that's our goal every single month until the point where we get to 83 and beyond that, right? But you can see that it wasn't just the money, because if I put the money into it and didn't do anything in between, we wouldn't have gotten any result. right?
And you guys wouldn't have gotten any results.
You guys wouldn't get the results either. You guys, those who join the program, right? You wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't join the program. You wouldn't be getting those quick wins, okay? Because what we learn also, we also teach, right? So like Marissa was saying, a key here is to understand this, that when you jump into something, go all in, go ham. If you have to wake up early, if you have to stay up late, if you have to watch videos 100 times to get it, do it. Okay? Do it, put it on your calendar, show up, show your face, engage, connect, right? Ask questions. Don't be that kid in the back of the class that, not asking any questions, right? Show up. And I promise you, people will show up for you. Okay, so that's number 4. Now, last one here. And before we move forward, what are you guys getting from this? What has been your number one takeaway so far from tonight's conversation? And I hope you see that we really care about you guys and we want to see you succeed. And what we're sharing tonight, it's not the tactics, or strategy. These are the principles. And if you don't get the principles down, the strategy and the tactics don't matter. They don't matter. You're not going to do it anyway. Right? Because if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right skill set, if you don't have the right support system, right network, you're just going to keep on showing up to this free training, right? But you're not going to make that next step. You're not going to take that next step to actually learning the deep stuff. Okay? And that doesn't have to be from us, whoever it is that you want to follow and get coached from, right? But that is a piece of it. That is definitely a piece of it. So with that, what is your greatest takeaway? The last thing, and then we're going to jump off, and we definitely did just 20 minutes today, of course. Typical. So the last piece here, okay, is you want to plan for success. Okay, you want to plan for success. You want to have a vision, okay, have a purpose that is bigger than your fears. You want to set goals, okay? We've shared it before, but if you see our wall, we have the rest of the year calendar that we printed, a piece of paper, right? We have a calendar that we bought, okay? We plan for success. We plan for the events. We plan these weekly live streams. Everything is on our calendar. If it's not on your calendar, it's not important, and you're not going to do it, right? So time blocking, scheduling, showing up, having it on your calendar, that's step number 1. You have to actually do what's on your calendar, do it consistently, and give it all you have when you do it, okay? So as easy as it might seem, right, are you actually implementing this stuff, right? If you're not, and you're not going to be getting the results that you desire, that might be a piece of it. It might be a piece of it. So with all that said, we're going to let you go with this, okay? We strongly believe that every single one of you has the power, the ability, the intelligence, okay, to do anything that your heart desires. If you have a strong enough why, if you have a purpose that is bigger than your fears, okay, nothing in the world is going to stop you from attaining that, right? Not a little bit of fear, not a little bit of anxiety, not a little bit of imposter syndrome, not a little bit of self-confidence issues, not a little bit of money, okay? Be resourceful, right? Find the people who can help you where you're stuck. Get the support system, okay? And I promise you, if you stay on track, if you go all in, you stay on track, you stay consistent, you follow the process, you trust the process, and you don't give up at the first sign of a challenge, and you do that consistently, 5 months from now, 6 months from now, your world can be completely different. Completely different. Your life can be completely different. Your family's life can be completely different. And it doesn't stop there. You have to keep on doing it. But I can tell you right now, it's worth it so much to be able to work with the people that you love to work with, to be able to take naps in the middle of the day, to be able to go for walks whenever you want, right? To be able to go see family whenever, to not have anyone tell you when you have to do something or not do something, right? That's all BS. And I know you guys hate it too. So if you really want to change your life, go all in, find the support, and just take massive action. There really isn't, like, there's no secret. I know we call this insider secrets, but there is no secret. It's just doing what you say you're going to do, even when no one's watching. Okay? So with that said, guys, thank you so much. We really hope that you found tonight valuable as a reminder to remember the principles, okay, of consistency, of staying coachable, of being aware of your limiting beliefs, but also being aware that they're there to question if you really want it. Okay? Being aware of bottlenecks in your life and your business. Where are the things that are holding you back? How can we remove them from your life or delegate them, give them to someone else? And are you planning for success? Or are you just living your day to day, waiting for someone else to plan your life for you? And with that, I'll leave you guys at that. We love you all so much, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening. Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for watching the show. I know your time is super valuable, and I know that you're here to learn how to grow a successful practice. So I have something special just for you. If you are a health expert who is in business or aspiring to be, and you're curious about how to grow a profitable, impactful practice, you're going to want to pay attention. Because as a person who is watching the show, I want you to win. So I've created a bundle of resources exclusively for those who are watching the Practice Revolution. So if you are tired of trying to figure out this game of business, marketing, and sales all on your own, and you're ready to implement what's already proven to work rather than reinventing the wheel, you're going to want to send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. And simply just let us know that you watched this show, and we'll personally hand over $7,000 worth of trainings, resources, and coaching that is available only for those who are watching this show on YouTube. So if you want to know how to increase your income, impact, and build a practice that works for the lifestyle that you want and that serves your family at the highest level, send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. Do it now so you can win big in your practice and in your life. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next show.